Hello, everybody. Now I want to show you new options that we have in our latest upgrade of our programs. You will receive it shortly. So this is related to our to processing of environment measurement. So just recently I did measurement with Biocore. I've been measuring before initially for some time, and then at some moment I turned on Biocore sensor attached to the glass of water. With new Biocore device, we'll have this in a very convenient way because new sensor will be like a plate where you can put your glass on. So, and then idea was to see results. So this is measurement of which was done. Okay, so of course we can look at this like this. We can share this. You see this initial signal. And then here I put mark, start. So it was, you see, it was 1 hour. 1 hour of measurement, and measurement was done in offline mode. And then you see some change of signal. Well, it's very difficult to evaluate whether it is significant or not. Now I have a new button, analysis. I press this button and I see this as graph. Again, I can have a look at this graph. And it's all done. So all the measurement. But of course, for me, it's most interesting this part. So what does it mean, this graph? Let's look only to area. This graph, it is processing of data for every 5 minutes. So every bar, it is averaged for 5 minutes of measurement. And this allows you to see much more clear. And now I want to change scale. Let's make minimal scale, for example, 6,000. And maximum scale, for example, 8,000. Okay. And you see, now we see this absolutely clear. This was measurement for 1 hour before I turned on Biocore sensor. This was for 10 minutes after, you see. But influence, of course, was much, much longer. And measurement was done with water sensor. So I put water sensor in the glass. And as you understand, I didn't touch neither glass nor sensor. Everything was connected. Only at this moment start, I turned on Biocore with our music. Okay, let's look to other parameters. Intensity, practically same as in area. Energy, some effect as well. But of course, for us, it's very interesting entropy. And now we have new calculation of entropy parameter. And again, of course, I need to change scale. So I click it here. And I change maybe minimum scale, maybe minus 100. Okay. And maximum scale, I need maybe 110. Minus 110. And maximum scale, maybe 10. Okay. Okay. So again, we see very clear effect. It was initial entropy, and then after I turned on our sensor, now Biocore, it dropped down tremendously, and it stayed at much lower level for a long time. So this way, you can process data without any extra efforts. And of course, you can unpress this button and have it back. And of course, you can go to statistics as we did before. You can press this button and add labels, for example, 10 minutes labels. Okay, close and calculate. And you see practically same effect, very similar effect, but it's more complicated. Of course, I can make statistics and add labels, maybe 15 minutes. Okay, close, calculate, and I see practically same results here, but here you need to find out where do I have this start label. Okay, so it's label 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here it is. Label 6. So it's possible to make it this way, but of course it's more complicated, and mostly you need it when you make processing in more long way. Okay, thank you.